Hello and welcome back to the beautiful Hampshire countryside. Today I'm out detecting in a field I have detected in previously and had some quite good finds come out of this one, including a Georgian coin. So fingers crossed we will find some nice finds today. So join me as I explore this field and see what history lies beneath our feet. Right, so first signal, and we'll have to be careful because in the hole I've disturbed an ant's nest. Luckily it isn't in the hole. It's in the plug. Okay, here we are. I'm going to give it a bit of a clean and we'll get back to you, see what we have. Okay, so giving it a clean, and it seems to say possibly Gripple Plus on that side and medium with some other writing on that side, and there's a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom, so I'm thinking possibly some sort of cable grip. We'll give it a bit more of a clean when I get home and see if we can do some research into what it could be. But interesting find anyway. So on to the next one. Right, next item. So this was a relatively low mid-tone. It's in the plug. This was in the 40s to 50s. And there we go, bit of tin foil. Problem is you have to dig them because they could just as easily be a gold ring. Next hole anyway. Right, this one was hopping all over the place. It was mid 80s to 30s to 50s, but it was a strong signal. So I thought I'd dig it and see what we have. Ah, there we are. So we have a rifle casing, bullet casing. Looks from the size of it probably 303. I'll give it a clean up when I get home. See if there's a maker's name on the bottom. Do find a lot of these round here, so nice find that one. Pleased with that. It was interesting because that was in amongst a load of other signals. So that was actually picked out by the AT Pro in amongst a load of rubbish. So I'm pleased with that. It's a good find. Right, next hole, next find. So not very far away. Just there was where I found the 303 casing. And down here we have something else. It looks like it could be a coin. Or it's not a coin. It is looks like a large washer. It's a shame, I thought that was a coin for a minute. Not a button. Could be a button, I'm not sure. Needs some cleaning up. It looks like it's got something. I don't know if there's a hole right through the middle of that. I think it probably is. So it could be an industrial washer. Any suggestions? Leave a comment below. Obviously I'll clean it up when I get home. Anyway, on to the next hole. Right, so next find. This one was hopping around quite a lot. It's going like 70s to 30s, but it was good enough. I thought I'd give it a go. And there we go. We have our first coin of the day. And I've touched it with a shovel, unfortunately, but it's a slightly beaten and battered 20 pence. So that can go in the coin jar. Happy with that. And on to the next hole. Right, another find close together today. There is one down there, and that was where the 20 pence came out of. And there's something in here. and a little possibly medieval plough ring, possibly. That's nice. Definitely not modern. So look like it could be the first medieval find of the day. And only about a metre away from some spendable change as well. Lovely. So on to the next hole. Right, next find. So it's out of the hole. It was a terrible signal, but there was something in there. And oh, it's a bullet. Old bullet. That's a really nice find. I'm happy with that. So give that a bit of a clean up and come back to you. So here we are, cleaned up. It's a nice, I'd say little, but it's not that little. It's a bullet. It's got 3 rings on the bottom. I certainly wouldn't want to get hit by it. So when we get back home, we'll give it a proper clean, try and get some of the dirt out from underneath it, and have another look at it. But very happy with that one. Lovely. So on to the next hole. Right, next hole, next find. So another random piece of metal for the pot, and with that in mind, we're not very far away from the gate, so I think we'll probably call it a day. Right, so end of the day, and some nice finds have come up, including my bullet, which I'm very pleased with. So I shall go home, clean these up, and then we can have a look and see if we can work out some of the history of them. So join me later on when I get back home, and we'll have a look at what we found. Thank you, bye bye. Hello and welcome back to my study. Today I'm going to go through some of the things we found most recently when we were out, starting with this. If you remember, we found this. It was a mini ball. It was invented in 1849 by Claude Etienne Mini. And this is a 56 caliber mini ball, and they were used extensively in the Crimean and American Civil Wars and accounted for nearly 90% of the deaths during the Civil Wars. And both the Springfield Model 1861 and the British Enfield rifled pattern 1853 rifles, muskets, used mini balls, and they were used right up until the late 1800s, when they were superseded by the modern encased cartridge, which leads me on to the second find, which was a 303 round encased cartridge. So that's the actual casing from the cartridge, and the 303 round was used by the British Army from 1889 right up until 1950, when it was superseded by the 7.62 NATO round. Moving on from militaria, we have the lovely little medieval ring, and that would most probably be a horse harness ring, not completely round, as you can see, which is why I know it's not a modern made, and that would suggest it's blacksmith made, so it's not modern manufactured, which suggests it is a medieval one. So that was a nice find. I then had my Gripple Plus that came up, and having cleaned it up on the back, it actually has medium 400 kilograms and lots of other information on the back as well, and that is actually for joining and tensioning wire. Not so much of a historical thing, but still an interesting and entertaining thing to find. We have my 20p spendable money, always glad to find that. That will go in my jar. Now, one thing that came up that actually I didn't film because I wasn't sure what it was going to, what the signal was going to be. So, was this buckle, and you can actually see it's an interesting sort of S shape to it, and it's very thin. It's only about 1 and a bit centimeters wide. So, if anybody has any ideas on the age for that, if they'd like to leave a comment down below. I think it looks to be 18th, 19th century. It's brass. So again, nice little find there. So that's what we found. That's the rundown and a little history behind some of the things we found. So if you've enjoyed watching the video today, both me out in the field and the rundown and follow up afterwards, please click the like and subscribe button down below. And if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them, and I will try and answer them as quickly as possible. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you keep safe, I hope you're well, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.